Hello crafty friends, Amanda here with Crafting with Amanda, and welcome to my channel. Today I am doing the last 4 cards with the Craft with Heart subscription from Close to My Heart. And with the subscription, if you order it through me and my website, I send out some pieces that augment the cards. So here's the design that they had with the butterfly and the banner and the heart and the little flowers. These pieces come in die punched cards, and they're well labeled with what pieces they go to. And if you're unfamiliar with that, you can go back to the video that shows cards 1 through 4, and I walk you through all of that. So then this little plate that has all of these extra pieces in it are part of what I send you, or as I've assembled the other cards and have had extra pieces left over from the ones that Close to My Heart contributed, those all go on that plate. So these flowers I cut from the Info Bloom SVG file, and the film strip, sorry I couldn't find the word for that, is also from that collection. In fact, all of the extra cuts, the butterflies, the flowers, the leaves, the banners, anything that I sent other than the daisies is from the Info Bloom paper kit. And I didn't use any other stamp sets other than the sentiment stamp that came with the Craft with Heart kit. So that's where that thank you came from. And like I said, I'm just adding kind of some of the components that I sent to augment things. And I'm just auditioning them, trying them out, seeing what I like, what I don't like. I really like this outline of the flower kind of on the film strip, filling in those spaces there. I was trying really hard to not bring in too much other product and supplies than what you received through Close to My Heart or from me if you order through me. I really wish they used to have sometimes little stamps of hearts or flowers or just one little image with the sentiments, and I really wish they would do that again, but the last few times they have not been there, so I'm not going to hold my breath on that. And here I'm just going to give the butterfly from the kit some movement, some shape. I'm just using my bone folder. Actually, it's a scoring tool for my scoreboard, just to give it some dimension. And if you really wanted to make sure that that dimension held, you can put foam tape underneath it. I have found that when you stretch the fibers in the cardstock, it has a memory, and it may deflate some, but unless you're having it under a heavy load of something or, stacked under a book for a long time, it will still bounce back a little and give some depth to your project. So here I'm adding some foam tape to the back of the banner to go over top of the flower and the butterfly. And that card is about done. I'll trim off the corners of this film strip here. The second card I do very similarly, so I don't show that. Now here is card 10, and there's a lot of intricate pieces for the white leaf outline that comes in here. So I start punching it out on camera, and then I go off screen. I kind of edit that out so you don't have to watch me take out all the centers of all of those leaves. And this, I love the daintiness of this. And I'm really pleased with how both of these cards took out. So I'm using the Thinking of You stamp set. And they had this card basically with these leaves, and the Thinking of You stamp set I think was in the center. It might have been a celebration. Let me take a look at that. They did use just the Thinking of You in the center with the white leaves, and that was it. So I'm really excited about the additions that I made to this card, and I hope you like them too. So I was going to audition different pieces, see if I like the leaves on it, see if I could get them to work with the outline leaves. I wasn't feeling it, so we move on to something else. That butterfly jumps off, and to me it was like, oh, this is it. So I love the butterfly on there. So I didn't have you watch me put glue. I used liquid glue on almost all of the white of this. I surrounded all the leaves and did the full outside of the border, and now I'm going to add that butterfly. And on this butterfly, I did just attach the body to the yellow base. I did not attach the wings down, so it kind of gives it some movement. So this is a flower piece that was left over from, I believe, one of the butterfly cards that we did previously, card number 9. So I was trying it in the corner, kind of liking that, kind of, I'm feeling it. I always can use thinking of you cards, so that's why I chose to continue with that sentiment, but you're welcome, obviously, to use whatever sentiment you need to fulfill your card surplus or needs, or what you need to get done. So these are the Desert Rose, I think, card. I think that's the color that I used to cut these flowers, along with the Harbor leaves and outline, again from the In Full Bloom SVG files. And so I'm just adding those here onto this card base. I'm going to shape my leaves, and all I do is pinch them between my fingers just to give them a little bit of shape. It's just pinching them in half. That's really all it is. And like I said before, once you bend the fibers of cardstock that way, it has a memory, and short of ironing it or dampening it and putting it under books for a long time, it does kind of keep its shape. Now I'm going to move on to card number 11, and you get 2 slimline cards this time with the workshop kit. And they use the sentiment "Love You, Mom," which would be great for a Mother's Day card or even a birthday card for mom. Just very, moms love flowers, right? So I'm just kind of showing you how I'm following their guide to kind of give an idea of where they started with it. And then from here, I'll jump off and see what I want to add and how I want to augment this card. The leaves, I love that they're big, because if you wanted, you could have a nice long leaf sprig on the side of your card or on a layout, because you can obviously use these for layouts. But it's nice because then you can kind of cut them apart, and it's not the same leaf set on every card. There's some variation because it's from a longer starting leaf, if that makes any sense. So I'm looking at this and I'm realizing I need one of my white daisies. So originally I hadn't cut the pieces of the white daisy to send with the card kit, but because I was able to assemble these before I put them in the mail, I went ahead and sent some of the smaller daisies shaped so that you have enough to make 2 daisies for these 2 cards. So what I do is I hold both pieces together, and then using my piercing tool, I pinch each leaf around the piercing tool, just to kind of give it more of that daisy-like petal shape. And for the center of the daisy, which I did also send, I just use my stylus, and just around the outside edge, I curl it up into that foam so that it pops off like the center of a daisy. And once I glue those 2 pieces offset together, then I kind of pull the leaves up individually from the sides to give us our daisy. And now I'm going to try this "Thank You" again on the sentiment instead of the "Love You, Mom." And this little black ink pad does come with the kit, so you get the block and the ink pad, and really, other than adhesive and a few, like I used a shimmer brush on this, and the few components that I send to you, you have everything you need to make these 12 cards. So actually 24 cards, because you do 2 of each. So I did change to the blockier "Thank You," and then like I said before, because these come out of a die cut punch page, sometimes there's little chads on them, and most of the time that doesn't bother me, but every once in a while on the right shape it bothers me, so I just grab my nail file and file those right off. I hope you guys have fun putting these cards together. I know for me it's just kind of nice you get 2 dozen cards really in an evening. The work is done for you. If you're following along what I've done, I've kind of already thought through some of the augmented pieces. And here I am cutting slits into that bouquet of flowers so that I can tuck the leaves in behind. So the stems aren't covering more of the flowers, and they look tucked in and included. So that's what I was doing there. And then I'm just giving some of the petals and the flowers that came in the kit just a little bit of a shape. You can see I'm using my bone folder to kind of like you would curl the petals on these little I don't know what kind of flowers they are. They almost look like forget-me-not with the shape of them, but they're not the right color. So, and then I'll glue this on. And I like to use liquid glue on cards because coming from Michigan, when it got cold, the tape runners could freeze, and then like your card would come in the mail and it would just fall apart. Where the liquid glue, for me, it's almost a weld. If you go to try to take that apart from a card, you end up ripping paper. So I didn't show you me sanding all of the edges of the chads from these birthday party hats. And I'm doing this very similar to the layout that they had. The one thing that I changed is I had those 2 circles that were left over from card number 6. And so I cut those in half and kind of just augmented with the circles on the edge of these cards. And I really like that little addition. And if you don't have those circles left from card number 6, you can cut circles on the Cricut if you have a punch, or you really could just stamp a circle in any color you want. I mean, the sky's the limit. So use your stash, look at what you got, and just have some fun with it. I just had the 2. I think if I would have had another one, maybe in like a sage green, I would have done it as well along the edge. So here's where you can connect up with me on social media. If you're already a subscriber to my channel, thank you. I really appreciate that. Here's another video you may be interested in, and I will have a link to the 2 previous Craft with Heart videos in case you want to catch the whole series in the description. Blessings.